in here, so I'd like to remind everybody to please address individual coaches through questions and use your name and affiliation when signaling to our mic as well. The three head coaches we have with us are Rob Koll of Cornell, Tim Flynn of Edinboro, and Tom Ryan of Ohio State. First off, we'll start off with opening statements from each coach addressing their tournaments so far. Immediately to my left, Rob Koll of Cornell, your tournament so far.
Like every tournament I've been in, it's peaks and valleys. I was absolutely devastated last a session ago, and then after the session I'm ecstatic. We certainly could do significantly better, but then again, this is a national championship, we could do a lot worse. So I'm thankful the guys are all healthy right now, and we look forward to a great tournament tomorrow.
Tim?
You know, I think we've been wrestling pretty well, and obviously have two finalists. It's just a roller coaster day, though. It's so hard. You have so many ups and downs, like Rob talked about. And, we lost a really tough match at 84, and that's kind of on my mind. And so it's hard to be, real excited yet. I'll have to go back to the room and think about it. But, it's a grind out there.
So yeah, I guess similar to Coach Koll and Coach Flynn, that I always say there's 11 train tracks running at the same time. And track 1 is your 25-pounder, track 2 is your 33-pounder, and the 11th track is your team. And they're up and down each one. So overall, we're happy where we sit right now. Some great wins. I think you're reminded. It's just every 365 days, right? So you're reminded every time you get here just how brutal it is. You're in the sanctity of your wrestling room, and you're training really hard, and you leave thinking, man, we're just gonna have, 10 guys gonna come through, and you get here and you just see the wars. This guy's got a leg in the air 5 seconds ago. You finish it, you move on. You don't finish it, you're in the wrestle back, so you're out. So it's a grind for sure.
Questions, please.
Okay, Tom, this is for you. You've been here before in 2009. Hate to bring back that memory, but you're close again. What will this night be for you? What gets you over the finish line tomorrow?
We just got to keep winning. We've got to keep winning. There's a lot of points still on the table. I think we may be 13 and a half up. They can score that many points and more. They've got really good people coming to the wrestlebacks. We just got to keep wrestling. So that's it. We've got to keep wrestling.
This is for Coach Flynn. Could you talk a little bit about each of your finalists? Certainly, you've had strong individuals this year, and it looks like the team's doing a great job, but having two guys in the finals has really helped boost your team in the standings.
Yeah, Mitchell Port, he's a Bellefonte kid. We got him away from Center County there in State College. My brother actually coached him in high school, so we had some inside information. We knew how hard he worked. He just goes all the time. Practice is unbelievable. Nobody actually wants to drill with him at practice. He's just a super kid, real quiet. Just a perfect kid to have on the team. David Habit, we call the most interesting man in the world. That commercial. He just he talks to everybody. He never stops talking. He's an unbelievable kid. Hopefully, you guys get a chance to chat with him. He's just he's a super guy, and obviously a ball of energy when he's out there. So both guys, pretty fun to coach.
For Coach Ryan, going into this, covering Ohio State this season now, Logan, you always look at, he might be a sure thing almost, but really tonight going into this, the most confident I felt in one of your wrestlers was Nathan Tomasello, just what he's done this year and how he's improved in the streak he's on right now. Just go ahead and talk a little bit about him and how he's been able to do what he's done.
He's a 4-point student. He comes in as a 4-time state champ, 3 times national champ. He comes with great accolades. But when you get to know him and you see his habits, we're all right. The end result of our habits, his habits are just surreal. The thing tonight that was we discussed in our team meeting was that our 3 freshmen, these 3 freshmen, were up against, from a bracketing standpoint, 3 of the best people in the tournament. 3 undefeated wrestlers. We had 3 freshmen going against. One was Waters unbeaten, Derringer unbeaten at 65 with Bo Jordan, and then Cox unbeaten at 97. It wasn't an easy road. We knew we needed to win at least 3 for a little separation, and 3 guys found a way to win. Nate won with 2 seconds to go, and Kyle picked up an early takedown and held on for a win against a really special athlete, a special wrestler. So it's a big night for those guys. It's really special.
Rob, this is for you. They had talked to use the word roller coaster. You talked about the roller coaster ride that Rio Buto went to from his quarterfinal, those 4 hours to get ready for this.
Well, obviously the controversy of Buto. I mean, I was surprised I wasn't the first question I got. I was disappointed. First of all, I was a little disappointed at the port. I was born also in Belmont, so I don't know how you got him away from me. So you know, this guy, for the story should be about Tim Flynn and Tom, because the amazing story what they've done with Ohio State. Of course, Tim Flynn with 6 scholarships in little Edinboro, Pennsylvania. If you've ever been to Edinboro, Pennsylvania, the guy's he's either a brainwasher, a genius, or some kind of crazy feat of parts, because I don't know how he does it. But back to Brian, I mean, he obviously, when that whole thing went down, he just said, well, let me know what they decide. And I didn't, I was told they're debating it. They didn't ask me any questions about it. I just sat back and they came back with a decision. So I texted him and said, you're in the semis. He said, all right, thanks. So it was actually, you know, you don't worry about what you can't control if you deal with stress effectively. And that's why he wrestled so well tonight.
Questions for Coach Ryan. Talk about the performance of Kenny Court's definitely up and down season for him. Comes in unseeded. What's the difference from the season coming into it and now the NCAA tournament? He's an All-American.
You know, I think communication with Kenny really helped. You know, we changed some of the things he did from a training standpoint. You know, I think we try to look at everyone differently, and there are guys that can work out 2 and 3 times a day, and there are guys that can't. So there were some things that way. I think communication with him really helped. He had a really big win first round in overtime, right, against Northwood State. I think it was Northwood State, right? And then, you know, a really good guy got upset in the second round match. You know, he won, and then had a big takedown against McCutcheon, you know, to put himself in the semifinals. So, you know, Kenny's had, you know, Kenny wants to win. You know, Kenny cares. But you know, at times the way he wrestles, you would wonder. You know, it looks like he doesn't, but he really does. He wants to figure out why he doesn't feel great out there. So we made some adjustments, and they paid off for him, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, again, Coach Ryan, you know, just talk about Logan Stever. This is the last match you're going to get to coach him, and, you know, just the legacy that he's left at Ohio State and how he's infused this program. Yeah,
I mean, obviously both of these guys, I've seen Rob did at Cornell, and you know, you get someone really special, and people want to come and be a part of it, be around them. Edinboro just had a win over a really tough Certus, so I'm not on Port's going to be ready. Port's a really tough guy. He's 3rd and 2nd in the country, so these guys know how to get their guys ready. Logan has been a pillar in the program, the growth of the program. People want to be around him, so we're going to miss him. You know, I asked him if he wanted to stay a few more years, if he gave a few more years of eligibility. He said absolutely not.
Last questions for the coaches, please.
Coach Koll, could you talk a little bit about just how tough Gabe Dean is? I mean, he's tough when he beats somebody bad, and he's real tough in these very heart-wrenching couple-second ride-em-out battles to win close matches.
Well, he's a big, physical, tough kid, and he's always going forward. But Avery was not a good matchup for him. He's actually, up until tonight, he was, I think, 1 and 3 against him, 1 and 2 against him. So that was not. We probably would have preferred if he wasn't standing on the other side of the mat. He's very similar to Gabe in every aspect of the sport. He's big, strong, athletic, and tough, and so it didn't surprise me he went into overtime. But you know, Brian and Gabe are just are like the epitome of our program, or at least what we want to be about our program. They're fantastic students. They're hardworking kids. You know, Brian came back from a really massive knee injury last year here wrestling Derringer, and wasn't able to wrestle all the way up till January this year. And so to come that far in such a short period of time is just a great testament to Brian. Gabe, on the other hand, you know, he started off, had a couple losses in Vegas. People started doubting him. He started doubting himself. Worked himself back into, not back into shape physically, but mentally, because this season is so darn long. These kids go through these peaks and valleys like we do, and it's gratifying to see such very good, wholesome kids make the finals.
Thank you, coaches, for your time tonight, and best of luck tomorrow.